Well, I'm actually Jenny Lynch this morning, but I've come here to tell you about some of the things that she has experienced and the things that she's done, which have been so beneficial in London. The first thing we need to say is we need to be confident and supportive of the curriculum that we're following. One girl who is about to graduate has done a study of the A-level physics, and we find that it's pretty well parallel with what Edexcel are setting for A-level. We know that there are slight deficiencies in mathematics because that's only because the Americans don't do calculus until they get into the university. But Ken is doing a very, very good job. This is the first piece he's done on integral calculus, and I believe right now he's working on the differential calculus and hopes to have that finished fairly soon. And that will be a stopgap in filling up the kinds of things that are normally done in sixth forms. We are looking into the possibility of having a course in biology that's slightly more advanced, so that people who approach medical school can have the necessary criteria that they need in order to be able to get in. Although we have, with the present system, been able to get people into medical college. And in fact, our own middle son went down to study for a bachelor's degree in nursing at Cardiff, and at the end of the fourth year they said to him, look, if you want to stay on, we can convert that into a doctorate for you, and you can have another couple of years. So there are various ways of overcoming these problems. As it so happened, he didn't like the medical studies, so he didn't stay. But there is an opportunity, you see. Once you've got the preparation and the grounding for it, God will make a way for the other things to happen. So research really shows us that the kind of level of activity that we're working on is much the same, and we need to be confident about that because we have a different level of activity. A-levels require 40% to pass. We're requiring 80%. There's a vast difference there. We're sending students out with character, not just brains. And we have as the central core of our subject God. And with God as the central part of our package, who can be against us? And we need, as head teachers and as students, to be able to project that forward and say, our God is in control. He's in control of every part of education, even though we may not think that that's the case. That we think that universities are humanistic. Well, they are. But that's okay. God can control humanistic things as well as he can control Christian things. So, we know that Jenny has had a tremendous success at the Paragon Christian Academy. She has 21 graduates to date, and that's when she started in 1992. All of them, she says, including the SEN students, have gained places in further education, higher education, or they've gone into ministry. Now there's a tribute to the success that this lady has put forward here. What's her recipe for this? What's her method? She's worked ACE curriculum since she started in 1992. So it can't be that far short of the mark. She supports her students right down the line to the fullest possible extent. Each student is given full support, a letter by letter, a certificate and an application form, and they are helped there. They need to have equal opportunities. When Bridget and I first met, we were in a school that, two grammar schools actually, and they amalgamated. And we ended up with 1,800 students in the school. And there were 620 students in the sixth form. Now, with that number of students and the kind of references that you have to make, you're not going to rely on one person to do the job. you employ a team of people and you organise it so that there are careers advisors, there are university application managers, there are heads of sixth form, and they all take their part in writing these references. Now, the problem in the Christian school is that most of them are quite small. You know, if we've got one of 180, I know we have one 180 in Mauritius anyway, but if we have one of 180 in this country, we would say that that is a thriving school. But even so, the number of people that are going to graduate from that are quite small. So the poor head teacher has to put on half a dozen hats that would normally have as advisors in bigger schools. So you have to take on that responsibility, and as a result of that, it does mean a little bit more work on your part in order to get that organised. So Jenny has given herself to the business of writing and making sure that the students actually understand what they've been doing and how they've been doing it. The student needs to know about the curriculum that has been followed. All right? You must make sure that they can relay it. Just take a couple of examples here. Oh, so you've come from such and such Christian school, have you? What did you do at school? Well, did a bit of pacework. Pacework. Could you explain that, please? Well, we sort of read a book, you know, and filled in a few words. But trouble is, I didn't remember any of it, you know. I did the tests, but I've forgotten most of it now anyway. You see? Or you could say, and inspire the children to come forth. Oh, so you've been to a Christian school, have you? Yes, I have. And I've researched the subjects that I've studied, and I know they're on parallel lines with the advanced level syllabus. I've been taught to set goals. I've been taught to organise my learning. I've been taught to check my work to make sure it's fine. And I'm been responsible for doing my work and completing my work and following it all through. And you see the atmosphere that comes across. If somebody has to go for that interview the first time, and that's where their limited speech is, then they're not going to come across as whole people. They need to know the curriculum, know what they've been doing, and spell it out to them if they haven't done that. If they do think it's filling in holes in a book, then that's as far as their thinking goes. But broaden their horizons. Show them that there's more to this and that they've developed character as a result of the resilience they've showed over a period of, say, 15 years of education. Try some interviews. Give them an experience. Have extracurricular studies, like the programme that we've got here today, Graduation and Beyond. Give them the opportunity to have an interview with somebody, and if you feel you haven't got the ability to do it yourself, co-opt somebody to come in. They do come in and talk about careers advice and things like that in state schools, so there's no reason why they shouldn't come in and talk about it in Christian schools. It might cost £50 or so, but if you've got a group of people there, then it will be very, very valuable indeed for them to learn this. And then give them an interview and say, now, how would you say this? And if you like, record it as well. Put it on a video so that they can see themselves from the other side of the fence. I often tell students that are playing the piano, because that happens to be my subject, you know, I said, get away from the keyboard and listen to what's going out on that piano. See and listen as somebody else who's not actually worried about how you finger things and how you get your chords right and your notes right and all the rest of it. Listen to the sound that's coming out and see if that can be improved, because that's your presentation. So let them see themselves in interview, and that they can learn then from any mistakes that they may have made, and anything that they feel themselves is not projecting God. They need to project God in the society. We need to flood the market with people that are sold out to God so that they can see, that the world can see that we're there and that we're making a difference to the world. All students should have a letter of reference and an explanation of the curriculum so that people can understand where we're coming from. Remember, Dr. Howard only started this in 1970. It travelled across the Atlantic and we had it in the early 80s. It's still quite new to people around this country. They don't necessarily understand it, particularly as we don't have schools of 1,000 turning out people. You see, we have probably several hundred in this country, maybe 2,000 at the most, that are coming out of schools each year. And so it's a gradual filtering through into society that's taking place. And so we need to make sure that the curriculum is understood by the student and it's understood by the people who are actually interviewing them. I was talking to somebody only yesterday, a homeschooler actually from Devon, and she came in and she said, do you know, just had an inspection from somebody who was a head teacher. And he thought the work that we were doing was absolutely wonderful. He'd never heard of ACE before. He didn't know anything about the curriculum. And this is 2 weeks ago, 2008. It isn't widely known, you see. And so we need to make sure that we're concrete with our information about the programme and that the students are also concrete about it. It is not just filling in holes in a book, you see. It's more than that. And we're finding that the character is coming out. So they should go equipped with a general character reference of who they are. It should have evidence also of their suitability for that particular course that they're studying. You know, I mean, if they're high quality in mathematics, then you wouldn't actually pan in on that if they were going to do an English degree. But you need to stress the areas where their strengths are. Then go on and talk about their hobbies and outside interests, their health and reliability to turn up for lectures and to do what they've said they're going to do, any achievements that they've made while at school, any work experience that they've done, perhaps on Saturday mornings, and then give an explanation of the curriculum and show exactly. Now, I'll read you a couple of those in a few minutes, so you'll get the idea of that. Give assistance with form filling. I know there are certain people that absolutely hate form filling. They make mistakes all over the place. And they don't write grammatically and things like that. Give them an experience in form filling, knowing exactly what to do. Have 2 or 3 form filling exercises, you know, as part of your programme. I mean, it's flexible enough for you to be able to change around and do things other than just the pacework or the extracurricular activities. There must be time during the course of the day to be able to fit those things in. Give assistance. We just heard about the UCAS, filling in of the UCAS form. Give them assistance. Go through it yourself, first of all, and then teach them what needs to be done, what needs to be said. Remember, these are official documents which are held in the UCAS area. So you need to make sure that they are accurate. Make sure too that you've got the record of achievement. Now, there are students who can carry this around because they finished their course and they're an open book then to anybody who wants to know about them. Everything that they've done, all the information concerning their personal statements and everything, they're all in there. But it could be that they're applying to go to a college and they haven't got this yet. They still have got to get 1 or 2, in which case 1 or 2 areas covered. In which case you could do a transcript of where they are at the moment, where they need to project to, and then agree to send them a letter of completion when the whole thing is done. So that the school or the university the college, knows exactly where they are and what they've got to progress on to. Now, I know that Brenda has spoken to you earlier about this one, and I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but the personal statement is absolutely important. It speaks to anybody who is either going to employ you or take you at university as being you. It tells you your strengths, your characteristics, your ability, your character, everything. And that, to many universities today, is far more important than a load of head knowledge. It's very, very important, because they can look at you and then they can say, yeah, goodness me, this person is going to make a difference to this place. I need that person in here. And that's why you don't want to be shy about what you've done and where you've come from. God's made a way for you, then be confident that He's got that path sorted out. And if you don't get where you want to go as a result of applying for a course, then don't write yourself off and say, that door I think God has closed on me. So I will look for the door that He's going to open for me, because I know that that is going to be for my best interests. It's not trial and error, it's finding His will. And you know that when you found His will, you're going to be successful because He is behind you. And He takes you to a level that you can't achieve in your strength. And that's what we need. We need Him to go before us. We need Him in the society that's there so that He can explode it beyond the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes. And He can feed thousands. That's what we need our graduates to do. So give them assistance in that form filling. We know from Jenny's list of things there, and I like to say this because of our level of activity. She's talking about NCSC, which was the one before the ICCE. She has 6 of those 21 graduates that left school on level 1 NCSC. There's one of them doing a BA in theology. There's another one doing a BA in psychology. There's another one doing a BSc in computer animation. Another one doing a BA in Japanese. Another doing a BSc in computer science. And another one doing a BSc in equine studies. Is that a testimony of the ability? It would be like saying somebody has a general certificate and yet we're accepting them into university. There's 6 from her school alone who've got in on level 1. Now, it doesn't mean to say that they're 16-year-olds. I had one who saw me yesterday who's 19 and he's on pace, I don't know, 92 maths, I think. He's not got to a general certificate yet, but he does have maturity. I taught A-level for years and years and years in school, and I know that there is a vast difference between somebody who's, you can't do it now, but I used to have some high flyers who could do A-level in a year. And there is a difference in maturity between the writing of a 17-year-old and the writing of an 18-year-old. They are completely different. So if you get a 19-year-old with a general certificate, he's got a level of maturity which is beyond the 16-year-old. He might not have the brain power, but he has that level of maturity. And we have an example of 6 there in a row that are reading degrees on the first general level certificate. So when you get to the intermediate and the advanced, generally there is never a problem in somebody getting into university. None whatsoever. You can follow the whole program through. When they go to university, make sure that they have a school prospectus. Make sure that they have a scope and sequence. Make sure that they bring school reports with them. Make sure that they have student convention certificates because that takes you outside the classroom. Make sure that they have a transcript of where they are at the moment, and make sure that they have any achievement certificates that are outside the normal running of the learning centre. So drama, music, photography, swimming, gymnastics, anything like that that they've gained certificates in, make sure that they go along with them if they haven't got them in this, which is as yet probably incomplete. Incomplete. Wow. Ensure all the documents are presentable and clean, not crumpled up and bent, because it's the first impression that people are going to be looking for. When they go and they have their interview, follow up any conditional offers. They might say, yes, we'll accept you, but we want you to get level 2. Now, if they haven't got level 2 or they haven't got the intermediate certificate at this stage, then the moment it happens, send them in and say, this is completed, now is that a conditional place for us? Because you see, when it comes to advanced level, they can either take advanced level at Christmas or they can take it in the summer. So they've really got to wait 6 months before they get the next one. But 6 months in terms of an ACE student, it could be only 3 months and they go from intermediate to advanced. Do you see? So it can happen at any time. It doesn't have to happen in the summer when everybody else takes examinations. And always send a letter in to either the tutor of admissions officer, the head of department, whoever's running that particular program, saying what you think about this particular student. Listen to this report that Jenny wrote about an SEN student. And when I spoke earlier, I did say, be honest. We don't want anybody going to a place where they're not equipped for it or that God hasn't planned them to go there. The moment you start prefabricating ideas and plans and expecting to boost things up, then you're trying to do it in your own strength and it's not God. Take the person where they are and let God do the edification program. This letter is to confirm that a student will have gained at the end of July 2007 the following equivalent qualifications from the National Christian Schools Certificate of Education Board. It will take at least 6 to 8 weeks for the certificate to be processed in this form. Subjects and qualifications: Computer Studies, Future Kids Level 8, pass. Maths, CD, grade. English Language, Grade C. Social Studies, Grade C. Science, Grade C. That's what they obtained. This student has worked on a system called Accelerated Christian Education towards a leaving certificate from the NCSC board and also the Christian Schools Record of Achievement, the CRSA. It is a record of the work achieved by the pupil and is designed for pupils with special educational needs. Do you see? She's clearly stating where the student has come from. This student has reached a level of understanding which should allow her to start a college course at entry level or level 1. She has dyslexia and needs support. We believe your establishment has a good support mechanism and is renowned for positive results with SEN students. It puts them on a good footing too, to have a report like that. It gets them on your side because they're actually propagating the good qualities that are there. Throughout her school life, she has been actively involved in sporting activities such as basketball, football, volleyball, ice skating and athletics. In other words, she's quite a vigorous girl. She has achieved awards for some of the other sporting events. She has also achieved certificates in platform events such as singing and drama. This is the SEN student, you see. All